There's always a lot of confusion in what to use for a collar. A lot of us go straight for a harness because our dogs pull and choke themselves, and so a harness just makes more sense. But we're still struggling on walks. So today we're gonna go over harnesses, all the different collars, what the options are, and what's gonna work best for you. All right, the first one is the harness. The idea with the harness is why most of us use it is so that our dogs aren't choking themselves. What you're actually doing is loading that dog. This is what it looks like. So if I've got a reactive dog that has a tendency to walk out in front of me, if there's something coming towards us and I do this and pull this way, my dog is instinctually going to keep going that way. So every time I pull, I'm actually loading this dog up, creating drive. So if you've ever watched anybody do bite work with a dog, and this is how they teach them to go after what's in front of them. So a couple hundred years ago, harnesses were designed for sled dogs to actually pull heavy objects. And that's what happens when you're walking your dog on a harness. When you pull back, you are by default telling your dog, okay, here we go. I want you to go. I want you to go. You're pulling and your dog's going this way. So it's complete opposition reflex. And you're trying to talk to your dog, saying no, saying, come on, let's not do that. No, no, no. Your dog can't hear you because all they're doing is feeling that actual pull and that load, and they want to go the other way. It's an instinctual move. The other thing that does that is a flat buckle collar. A flat buckle collar is what we call jewelry. That's where your dog tag goes. And it sits down here in the meaty part of your dog's neck. It creates the same kind of drive in a dog that a harness does. When it sits in that meaty part of the dog's neck, the dog is going to push right through it. Another one that's commonly used for dogs that pull is something called the gentle leader. It goes around the snout or a head halter. This is what it looks like. Or some of them have little buckles down here. So the head halter does stop pulling. A dog is not going to pull against this typically, because where the head goes, the body's gonna follow. So if he pulls on this, it causes his head to kind of go sideways and backwards. Again, the downfall with this is there is no way to communicate with this dog or give them any kind of feedback. It simply pacifies the situation. So, and there are some dogs, I worked with one a few weeks back that had a little line right here, a little divot, because although she wore this, when she saw something that triggered her, she would still pull against it. Her head would go sideways, and it just created this little crease, this little mark in the top of her nose, which eventually will do damage to their nasal cavity. Next up is the Herm Springer prong collar. I know, before you even say it, you guys, I know. I am a dog rescuer first. That is my moral obligation. I'm a dog trainer second. When I first started rescuing my dogs, you could not have paid me enough money to put one of these on my dogs until I did my research. This has a catching point, a stopping point. It will not choke your dog. It is not designed to inflict pain. Dogs are genetically predispositioned to receive communication via their neck. That's how mom talks to them, that's how they play. So this is not, if you've used it on yourself, which you probably haven't if you hate it, it does not hurt. You can use tools wrong. You can absolutely use it wrong. So if this is my dog, if my arm is my dog's neck, and see all that gap, and I just put it on and let it hang like that, then my dog runs to the end of the leash and it does one of these, that sucks, that hurts. That's not what I wanna do. I want this to be fitted just like that. Not super, super tight, just like that. I want it high and snug on my dog's neck. I've got videos on how to do this, how to walk your dog on a prong collar, how to fit a prong collar. I'm not gonna go too much more into detail. Just know that this is not designed to sit like this and just dig into your dog's neck. I know that's what we all think. That's what I thought. Like, oh my God, my poor dog is just gonna be doing this all day. No, it sits snug just like this. Pop, release, pop, release. That's all you're doing. Within 10 to 15 minutes of training your dog on this, your dog does not pull. You go from doing this, walking your dog like this, letting them pull you, to slacken the leash. Now you've got a dog that just sits at your side, and you've got slack, and you've got a backup tool to give more feedback and more communication if necessary, if another dog, person, cat, car, bike comes up to you and you need to